Hello, everybody. This is Jesus Christ Worldwide Ministries. Check us out at jesuschristworldwideministries.org. It's a pleasure to be here today with you. I am your pastor and evangelist, Evan. The message today is about the forced medical procedures that is coming across the land. I want to remind you that in Matthew 7:15, it tells you that deception would be the sign of the times we're living in, where we have plague, we have government dominance, and we have censorship of Christians, where the Bible's telling you can't buy or sell unless you have a mark of the beast. Well, we are running into a you can't buy or sell unless you have an inoculation. But today I want to tell you, American people, Christian people, that the White House does not mandate a vaccine.
Jim, two questions on the vaccine. First, you had mentioned yesterday that every individual at this White House has been, quote, offered a vaccine. So can you clarify, is the administration not mandating vaccines for White House staff?
No, we have not mandated.
Okay. And do you have a count, or can you offer any confirmation to us on the percentage of employees who are vaccinated?
I'm not going to provide that.
We have a very old, feeble old man as the president. A vaccination program should start in the White House. But I found out 2 days ago that the White House does not mandate vaccines, be it they mandate it for restaurants and stores. The CDC, Moderna, Pfizer, their employees aren't mandated to take the vaccine. They're not mandated, but yet you are. The red flag should go up as an American and as a Christian. We're living in end times. You are supposed to put up resistance lawfully against tyranny, censorship, and forced medical procedures. You know, the Bible tells us that there'll be plagues in the end times, that there'll be deceptions in the end times. Well, the number one sign of the end times is that Israel, destroyed in 70 AD, would come back. And Ezekiel tells us that those dry bones that are in a graveyard would all of a sudden come back to life. Well, in 70 AD, Israel was destroyed like Jesus predicted, and it came back virtually 1,900 years later. So in 1948, that is the timepiece of God. We are living in the end times. Then you have pestilence, man-made, weaponized pestilence, made by communist empire that has a 200 million man army, also predicted in the Kings of the East in the Bible. We have Turkey and Russia that fought for 1,000 years, now coming together with Persia to stand against Israel, which is Ezekiel 37. In Daniel, we have a prediction down to the day that 483 years after the edict would come to rebuild the temple from the king of Persia, Daniel tells us that 483 years later that Jesus would go into Jerusalem on a donkey. We are living in the end times. We see the reestablishment of Israel. We see a plague hit the planet, man-made from the enemies of Christ. We are living in end times. So although these are trying times to live in, we should be of good cheer. We should look up because our redemption draweth near. So I'm happy to report to you that we're living in end times. And as Christians, we should come together to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. You know, I highly recommend people when they're studying the Bible go to the great Bible teacher Chuck Missler, Missler. He has Koinonia House or K House. He has many, many in-depth studies on the Bible. I think he's a great Bible teacher. I consider myself more of an evangelist. I'm living in the end times, and I'm trying to bring a relevancy to what we're seeing in the world. We're seeing lockdowns, we're seeing tyranny, we're seeing censorship, and by a man-made plague. And I've mentioned this before, that in 2012, Barack Obama was banned from studying chimera viruses by the Senate, And in 2012, I wrote a paper on the virus, the chimera viruses being sent to Wuhan, China. So what it was 8-9 years later, we got the worldwide problem. I saw this happening. I have a spirit of prophecy. I've been showing the world ever since I was a little kid. I've been 2-3 decades ahead of the world on what was coming. And I wrote a book on the fall of the Soviet Union 2 years before the fall of the Soviet Union. But I was just a young kid. I was just a young guy. Nobody bought my book. Nobody was impressed by the fact that I was telling you about the fall of the Soviet Union. And even though I hear that it wasn't predicted by anybody, I wrote a 900-page book on the fall of the Soviet Union. So I'm ahead of the curve. I can go into it later on, what God has done in my life, and as a prophetic evangelical Christian, how I've been able to see these things happen. I've tried to warn people. I've done everything I could to warn people. But I want to tell you that during these times we should be of good cheer, because many people like Newton, they were enthusiastically looking forward to being the generation that would see the reestablishment of Israel, that they would live in the end times, that they might not die, they might not taste of death, but see the Lord Jesus come back. So when you see these things happen, be of good cheer. Be of good cheer. But Matthew 7:15 tells us of the deception that was coming. We are living in these times. I'm doing my best to get the message out, and it's the ball's in your court. I'm making these videos. I really want you to find three or four people that you can forward this message to. I want you to smash the like button and do what you can to promote this ministry. You can go to JesusChristWorldwideMinistries.org. That's the website I built, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can go to contact at JesusChristWorldwideMinistries.org and send your prayer requests to me, and I'll pray over them. I am doing my best to bring you the gospel of Jesus Christ, but although I admire men like Greg Laurie and other men of God, I like the faith message that Joseph Prince teaches. There's a lot of good ministries that you can find, but I don't find a lot of ministries that talk about what's happening today. And I just want to let you know that the White House does not mandate the vaccine, and they put their masks on in front of the camera, they walk away, and they're okay with walking around in front of an 80-year-old president. There shouldn't be mandates anywhere in the United States. The mandate should start at the White House. They should start at Moderna. They should start at Pfizer. They should start at the CDC. Half the doctors working at the CDC have not taken the vaccine. It really isn't a vaccine, it's gene therapy. So the Bible's warning us in the end times that you won't be able to operate without the mark of the beast. And I'm telling you that you should not accept a medical tyranny, a media tyranny. You must resist. The gospel message is coming to you, letting you know that you can resist these things and be working with the will of God. You should not follow Joe Biden. He's a feeble old man who falls upstairs. Jen Psaki told a reporter 2 days ago that the White House does not mandate vaccines, be it they're mandating vaccines in American Airlines to travelers. If our 80-year-old president does not require that the people around him be vaccinated, then you should seriously reconsider what is being asked of you. Alex Jones, Infowars.com, was banned from the internet. Well, that's the site that is interviewing the world-renowned researchers on virology, and they're banned from the internet. They're banned from Facebook. They're banned from Twitter. So I highly recommend leaving Twitter and going to Gab, leaving Facebook, resisting the censorship that's been thrust upon you. Resist the medical tyranny that's been thrust upon you. I can go into at great length the doctors that have emailed me and told me of the stories of the problems with the vaccination. So there's been censorship, there's been tyranny. Your radar should go up and say, what's going on here? And if you look at the prophecies of the Bible, although we live in trying times, you should be of good cheer, because it predicts this and it lets us know that God has told us the future. God said he would come as a thief in the night, but to his people, he would warn. His people would be informed of what was going on. So I want you to be of good cheer, and I'll tell you, I pray in the name of Jesus Christ that you'd be blessed during these times physically, mentally, and emotionally, and that God would enlighten you to what we're coming up against. The vaccination is a sign that really, really, really should be a red flag to you. If the CDC doctors don't take the vaccination, you might want to think, why would you? If the White House doesn't require the vaccination, you might think, why don't they require the vaccination? There is a medical, media, and military tyranny coming upon the planet. It's already reached us, and I want to encourage you to follow God. Check out Chuck Missler. Study the books of the Bible. Look at the predictions that are in the Bible that most ministries don't preach on anymore. Koinonia House, or K House, was his ministry, and he went on to be with the Lord a couple years back, but he's really the foremost Bible researcher that I rely on. And I would like to add to the ministry he had of teaching, and as an evangelist, bring this to you up to date, what's happening. You know, the NFL will require vaccinations, but yet the White House, with an 80-year-old president, doesn't require them. I want to let you know that Big Brother, Big Business is conspiring together to destroy the American experience and turn it into a totalitarian state. You know, an in-depth study has taken place, Russell Brand refers to it, that 87% of the world is under censorship and being dictated to in a totalitarian way. The new world order is coming upon us, and as Christians, we should resist and we should share the message. Once again, I'm asking you to hit the like button. I'm asking you to find 4 or 5 people that might be your enemies, they might be your friends, loved ones. Share the message of Jesus Christ, that we are living in end times. And it would do them a lot of good if you told them about the medical tyranny that's coming upon the planet. I want you to realize this. You are warned as a Christian of the times we live in. And as you see these things happening, I want you to be of good cheer. I want to encourage you. Go to JesusChristWorldwideMinistries.org, share this message, and I will talk to you soon. Bless you.